Have you ever felt a strange pull inside, as if something or someone you couldn't see was trying to reach across time and whisper to you? Imagine this. A woman walks through a quiet street at night. The lamps flicker. The air feels heavy, though nothing seems out of place. Suddenly she freezes because she swears she hears her own voice call her name from behind. She turns, and no one is there. Only silence, yet her heart races. In that moment, she knows something deeper has touched her reality. Was it her imagination, or a message from another version of herself? We grow up believing we are one single self, one single life, moving forward in a straight line. But what if that's just the surface? What if every decision you've made, every door you've opened or closed, has created another version of you? Living, breathing, learning in a world just a breath away. And what if those other selves sometimes try to reach you, leaving behind subtle trails, like déjà vu, dreams that feel more real than waking life, or uncanny coincidences that make you stop and question everything? These are not accidents. They may be signs. Signs that the universe is not divided by walls, but woven like a vast tapestry of mirrors, each thread holding another story of you. And in the stillness of certain moments, those threads tremble and a reflection leaks into your world. What would you do if you realized a parallel version of yourself was guiding you, sending messages from a reality where choices unfolded differently? Could those whispers hold the key to unlocking a path you've been searching for all along? The signs are there, closer than you think. But to recognize them, you must first learn to look with different eyes, to feel beyond the ordinary pulse of life, and to question the reality you've always taken for granted. You know those moments when life seems ordinary, and yet something interrupts the flow, a detail, a sensation, an unexplainable sign that makes you pause? They arrive without warning, like whispers in the wind. You wake from a dream that feels so vivid it clings to you the entire day, as if it wasn't just a dream, but a memory from another life. The faces you saw were unfamiliar, yet strangely close. The places felt like home, though you had never stepped foot there. You tell yourself it's imagination, but deep inside you wonder, why did it feel so real? Other times the signs come through numbers. You glance at the clock, 11:11. Later the receipt at the store shows 22:22. Then you walk past a building with the number 333 painted boldly on the wall. You smile at the coincidence, but as the repetition continues, unease settles in. It feels as though the universe itself is coding messages into your day, urging you to notice, to listen. Could these numbers be the fingerprints of another version of you, reminding you of paths not yet taken? And what about intuition? The sudden tug in your chest telling you to make a call, to cancel an appointment, to take a different route home. At first you ignore it, but when you later discover that your choice avoided an accident or led you to meet someone who changed your path, you begin to wonder, how could I have known? These invisible nudges, these inner alarms, are more than instinct. They are signals, perhaps from the you that has already lived what you are about to face. Sometimes the body itself becomes the messenger. A sudden chill without reason. Goosebumps rising on your skin when no one else feels cold. A pressure in the chest when you are not ill, or the sensation that you are being watched, though you are alone. These strange physical echoes are not random. They are the vibration of realities brushing against one another, a silent knock from another existence, reminding you that you are not as isolated as you think. And then there are the moments when reality itself feels off. You walk into a room you know well, but something feels slightly shifted, as though you've stepped into a replica that is not quite your own. You lose track of time in odd ways, minutes that vanish, or a lingering sense that you are in the wrong place at the wrong moment. These distortions are subtle yet undeniable. They leave you asking, did something just shift? The pain in all of this is not the sign itself, but the confusion it brings. You wonder if you are losing your mind, if no one else could possibly understand. Friends laugh when you tell them about your déjà vu, your repeating dreams, your patterns of numbers. And so, you keep it quiet, carrying the weight of mystery alone. But deep down, you crave meaning. You want to know, is there truly something more? Or are these signs nothing but tricks of perception? Yet what if they are neither madness nor coincidence? What if they are a hidden language, deliberate messages stitched into your everyday life, waiting to be decoded? What if each dream, each number, each shiver in your body is not random at all, but the way another version of you is trying to reach across the veil of realities and guide you? And if that is true, what exactly are they trying to tell you? Among all the mysterious signs that cross our path, one of the most powerful and universal is déjà vu. It seems so simple, an eerie sensation that you have lived a moment before. A street you walk down for the first time feels strangely familiar. A conversation flows with a rhythm that convinces you you've heard the exact words before. For most, it is brushed aside as a trick of the brain. But for those who dare to look deeper, déjà vu is not an accident. It is a crack in the veil of realities, a ripple where two versions of you are colliding. Ancient traditions spoke of this long before modern science gave it a name. Mystics believed déjà vu was the soul remembering a truth it had already lived in another world. In sacred texts, it was often described as the remembrance of eternity. Ecclesiastes whispers, "What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun." These words echo like a code, reminding us that life is not linear but cyclical, repeating across infinite versions of existence. What you feel as déjà vu may not be your imagination. It may be the echo of another you, reaching across the fabric of time to say, "I have been here before. Follow this path." Think of it this way. Imagine two rivers running side by side, separated by a thin strip of land. Both flow in the same direction, yet each carries a slightly different story in its waters. Once in a while, the rivers overflow, spilling into one another. That moment is déjà vu, a flood of memory that is not your own, yet belongs to you in another reality. When you feel it, you are not losing your mind. You are awakening to a hidden truth. Science, too, has begun to hint at this mystery. Quantum physics speaks of superposition, the possibility that multiple states exist simultaneously until one is chosen. If matter can exist in many places at once, why not consciousness? When you experience déjà vu, it may be the moment when your awareness brushes against the version of you who has already chosen differently, already walked this step. But here is the hidden meaning, the part few dare to acknowledge. Déjà vu is not only a sign, it is an invitation. It is not meant to confuse you, but to awaken you. When that sensation rises in your chest, stop. Listen. Ask yourself, what choice am I standing before? What crossroads is my soul trying to illuminate? Too often, we treat these moments as curiosities, but they are maps, subtle guidance from a parallel self who already knows the terrain. There are countless stories of people who followed these moments and found miracles. A man felt déjà vu as he walked into a business meeting. Something inside urged him to decline the contract, even though it promised wealth. Months later, the company collapsed in scandal. A woman dreamed repeatedly of a place she had never visited. When she finally traveled there, she found both the love and the calling she had been seeking her entire life. Were these coincidences, or were they whispers from a parallel version who had already lived the consequences, reaching back with a warning or a blessing? Think of the prophets of old. Joseph, son of Jacob, dreamed of sheaves of grain and stars bowing before him. His visions were dismissed as nonsense until they revealed the path that would save nations from famine. Dreams and déjà vu are siblings, born of the same mystery. the soul's memory of what has already unfolded in another place, another layer of reality. When you feel that strange familiarity, it may be your Joseph moment, a glimpse into the story already written, urging you to trust what your eyes cannot yet see. This is why the first secret, the first great sign, is so powerful. It proves you are not limited to one life, one timeline, one destiny. There are countless versions of you, each carrying lessons you can access if only you dare to listen. Déjà vu is their knock on the door. It is their way of saying, you are not alone in this choice. I am with you, guiding you forward. And here is the most astonishing part. Once you begin to treat déjà vu as a message instead of a mistake, it grows louder. The universe responds to your attention. What was once rare becomes a language. You begin to notice not just déjà vu, but patterns, synchronicities, and dreams that all weave together, pointing in one direction. As though the many versions of you are standing in a circle, whispering in unison, urging you toward your higher path. But what happens when these signs begin to repeat, almost haunting you, until you cannot ignore them? What are they truly leading you toward? Her name was Claire. On the surface, she was like anyone else, commuting to work, sipping her morning coffee, scrolling through her phone while the train rattled through the city. But beneath the routine, there was an ache, a gnawing sense that her life was slightly out of sync, as if she were living someone else's story. It began with a dream, not once but over and over for weeks. In the dream, she walked down a narrow stone street lined with lanterns glowing softly in the night. At the end of the street stood a small wooden door. Every time she reached out to touch it, she woke up, her heart racing, her skin covered in goosebumps. The strange part was that Claire had never seen this place in her waking life, yet the dream carried the weight of memory. Then the numbers appeared. At first, she brushed them off. 11:11 on the clock, a receipt total of 22:22. Then, as she stood in line at the cafe, the barista handed her the order number, 333. That was the moment the hairs on her arms lifted, because deep down, she felt the universe was no longer whispering. It was calling her. One evening, exhausted after work, Claire decided to walk home instead of taking the train. She wandered through streets she rarely visited. The air was cool, carrying the faint smell of rain on stone. Her steps slowed as she turned a corner and froze. There it was, the street from her dream. Narrow, stone-lined, lanterns glowing. Her body trembled. She felt the weight of two realities colliding in that instant, her dream and her waking life, and at the end of the street, the wooden door. She stood before it, her breath shallow. Fear pressed against her ribs, but curiosity was stronger. Slowly, she reached out her hand, touching the rough grain of the wood. A jolt shot through her body, not painful but powerful, like recognition. Tears welled in her eyes. It was as if a part of her soul had been waiting for this moment across lifetimes. Inside, the door led not to a hidden treasure or secret chamber, but to something far more ordinary, a small bookshop. Shelves lined the walls, filled with worn pages and forgotten titles, and yet the air vibrated with a sacred stillness. Claire stepped in, her fingers brushing over the spines until one book nearly fell into her hand. She opened it at random, and the first words she saw read, "You are exactly where you are meant to be." Her knees nearly buckled, the world around her blurred. She knew in her core that the message was not random. It was the very thing she had been searching for, confirmation that she was not lost, that the signs were guiding her, that perhaps another version of her had already walked into this shop and left a trace for her to find. From that day on, Claire's life changed, not because she suddenly discovered all the answers, but because she began to trust the signs. She started paying attention to her intuition, journaling her dreams, noticing synchronicities instead of dismissing them. Opportunities opened, People entered her life at the exact right moment, and doors, both literal and spiritual, began to reveal themselves. Claire's story is not unique. It is a mirror. Perhaps you have also had a dream that refused to let go, a number that stalked you through your days, a moment when reality itself felt too strange to be random. These are not accidents. They are a language your soul understands, a conversation between versions of yourself stretched across the fabric of time. The question is, will you ignore them, or will you follow them to see where they lead? Now, I invite you to take part in this journey. Share your own experience in the comments, your dreams, your signs, your synchronicities. I read them with care, and in future videos I may mention your story, giving your experience the voice it deserves. Your words could be the sign someone else has been waiting for. If déjà vu is the first great sign, a ripple in the veil of realities, then synchronicities are the second. They arrive quietly, disguised as coincidences, but they strike too perfectly to be dismissed. Synchronicities are the universe's secret alphabet, the precise way parallel versions of yourself weave into your present moment. Think about it. You are considering a major decision, perhaps leaving a job, moving to another city, or opening your heart to someone new. Out of nowhere, the same word or image begins to appear everywhere. A symbol follows you through the week. A book you've never noticed suddenly calls to you. Someone you barely know repeats the very phrase you've been hearing in your mind. These are not accidents. They are alignments, threads that connect your life to another version of you who has already walked down that path and is leaving markers to guide you. Ancient cultures understood this. The Greeks called it kairos, the appointed time when heaven touches earth, when events align beyond logic. In the Bible it is written, "By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every matter shall be established." Deuteronomy 19:15. What is a synchronicity if not the gathering of witnesses? Numbers, symbols, people, events, all conspiring to reveal the truth of a hidden message. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, dared to put language to this mystery. He described synchronicity as meaningful coincidence, moments where inner thought and outer event collide with perfect precision. But what Jung did not fully declare, what mystics whispered for centuries, is that these alignments may be your own consciousness echoing through other realities, sending messages to pull you closer to the path of your highest self. Imagine a woman debating whether to change careers. Every day she sees butterflies on billboards in shop windows, even landing on her path as she walks. She begins to notice the repetition. A butterfly in every tradition represents transformation. Could it be that the version of her who already took that leap is sending a message of encouragement, urging her to spread her wings? Or consider a man mourning the loss of someone he loved deeply. He begins to see feathers everywhere, appearing in impossible places. On his desk at work, on the hood of his car, even indoors where no bird has flown. The feather becomes a bridge, a sign not only of comfort from the spiritual world, but perhaps also from a parallel self who has already found peace on the other side of grief, reminding him that healing is possible. The question is, how do you recognize synchronicity for what it truly is, and not simply another passing coincidence? Here is a simple but powerful technique, the threefold rule of attention. Notice, when a symbol, number, or event repeats, pause. Don't dismiss it. Write it down. The act of noticing itself strengthens the signal. Connect. Ask yourself, what was I thinking, feeling, or deciding in the moment this sign appeared? Synchronicity rarely arrives without context. The meaning is often tied directly to the decision or emotion you carry. Respond. Take one small action aligned with the sign. If you keep seeing references to music, play the instrument you abandoned years ago. If the number 7 follows you, Reflect on areas of completion or spiritual growth in your life. When you respond, you validate the message and the dialogue deepens. This practice transforms synchronicities from curiosities into a living language. You become fluent in the whispers of the universe, and soon the signs no longer feel external. They feel like conversations with yourself, with the parts of you that live across parallel realities, urging you toward wholeness. Remember, the universe does not shout, it nudges, it lays breadcrumbs. To follow them is to step into alignment with your deeper purpose. To ignore them is to remain blind to the guidance constantly flowing toward you. The beauty of synchronicity is that it is available to anyone. You don't need to be a mystic, a scholar, or a prophet. You only need to pay attention. Every person, regardless of background, is surrounded by these signs. The difference lies in whether you choose to see them as noise or as messages. And yet there is another level, a sign so profound, so rarely spoken of, that it touches not just the fabric of your daily life, but the very essence of your soul's mission. Few know it, fewer still recognize it, but once revealed, it changes everything. What is this hidden sign, buried deeper than synchronicity, beyond déjà vu, waiting for those who are ready to see? There is one sign more powerful than déjà vu, more undeniable than synchronicity. It is not written in numbers, nor hidden in dreams, but engraved directly into the depths of your soul. It is the sudden and overwhelming sense of presence, as if the veil between worlds thins and another reality breathes through you. This presence cannot be faked. It arrives in silence, yet shakes the ground of your being. You may feel it in a moment of prayer, or in the middle of ordinary life when nothing extraordinary seems to be happening. Suddenly, time slows. The air grows dense, almost alive. Your heart beats not in fear, but in awe. It is as if another version of you, higher, wiser, closer to the divine, has stepped into your skin to remind you of who you truly are. Mystics called this the overshadowing. In Christian mysticism, it was described as the descent of the Spirit, when prophets felt their lips speak words not their own. In the Gospel of John, Christ declares, "The Spirit of truth will guide you into all truth." What is this Spirit, if not the eternal version of yourself, one with God, reaching into your present to reveal a truth that cannot be denied? Modern physics whispers the same mystery in different language. Quantum entanglement teaches us that two particles, once connected, remain linked no matter how far apart they travel. When one changes, the other responds instantly, even across galaxies. Could it be that your soul is entangled with all your parallel versions, and that the shiver of presence you feel is their vibration colliding with yours, summoning you to awaken? People describe it differently. Some feel their skin flush with warmth, as though touched by unseen hands. Others hear a whisper in the mind, words they cannot attribute to their own thoughts. Others still weep without reason, because the veil is too thin and the love flowing through them is too great. These are not hallucinations, they are revelations. They are the final unspoken sign, the visitation of your higher self. And here lies the hidden truth. This presence does not come to everyone at random. It comes when you are ready, when your heart has been softened by longing, when your spirit is hungry for more than survival. It comes when you are standing on the edge of change, afraid to leap, but desperate to fly. That is when the higher version of you, the one who has already leapt, steps in to lend you its wings. You may have felt this and brushed it aside, thinking it was only emotion, only imagination. But if you dare to recognize it, if you dare to bow before it and say yes, everything changes. From that moment on, you no longer walk blind. You walk guided. You walk with the awareness that your soul stretches across eternity, and that eternity is whispering through your every step. And let me pause here to say this. If you are feeling the tremor of these truths, if something deep within you resonates with what you are hearing, then take a moment. Pause this journey only long enough to subscribe to this channel and like this video. We create this space not for profit, not for fame, but for love, for the sacred calling of awakening. Each subscription strengthens this community of seekers. Each like tells us that these words are not in vain, but seeds falling into fertile soil. You are not just a viewer, you are part of a circle, a family of souls remembering together. Now imagine, the moment this presence overtakes you is not the end of your journey, but the beginning. It is the door opening, the trumpet sounding, the veil tearing from top to bottom. Once you have felt it, you cannot return to the old illusions without hearing its echo. Every silence becomes sacred. Every decision becomes weighty with eternity. Every heartbeat is a drum in the song of your destiny. But here lies the question. If the higher version of yourself can visit you, can you also visit it? Can you consciously step into that other reality and merge with the wisdom, the strength, the love that waits for you there? Every sign we explored, déjà vu, synchronicities, dreams, intuitions, even the sacred presence itself, was never meant to confuse you. They are not random sparks in the dark. They are lamps along your path, lit by versions of yourself and by the spirit that transcends time, calling you to awaken. Look back at your life. How many times did you ignore the whisper? How many times did you dismiss the number that kept appearing, the dream that returned, the coincidence too perfect to be accidental? And yet here you are, listening, remembering. This is not by chance. It is the moment when all those forgotten signals gather and reveal their true purpose, to remind you that you are more than flesh and bone, more than one lifetime, more than one story. Your soul is vast. It stretches across dimensions, across realities, across eternity itself. Each sign is a thread, pulling you back into alignment with the greater tapestry. The déjà vu you felt was not a glitch, but a message. The synchronicity was not a coincidence, but a conversation. The presence was not imagination, but revelation. All of it together is a sacred summons. Awaken to who you really are. And there is hope in this awakening, for it means you are never alone. Not in your grief, not in your confusion, not in your longing for more. Every step you take is mirrored by countless versions of you who have walked before, who have overcome, who are cheering you forward. And beyond them, the divine watches, guiding, loving, waiting for the moment when you finally lift your eyes and see. You are part of something far greater than you ever believed. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new way of living. From now on, pay attention to the signs. Keep a journal of your dreams. Notice the numbers. Trust your intuition. Embrace the presence when it comes. Because every sign you recognize draws you closer to the highest version of yourself and closer to the heart of God. And now, I want to ask something of you. Not for me, but for this circle we are building together. If this message has spoken to your soul, leave a comment below with your name and your city. In the next video, I may read your name aloud as a blessing, so that this community becomes not just anonymous faces, but a family of seekers joined by faith and mystery. Also, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. This work is not driven by profit, it is driven by passion and love. Every like, every subscription strengthens this community, ensures that these seeds of light reach more hearts that are searching, just like you once searched. By joining, you step into a fellowship of awakening where we share signs, testimonies, and revelations as a family walking the same sacred road. Remember, the signs are real. They are calling, and the greatest mysteries are still ahead. So open your heart, stay watchful, and prepare yourself, because what is coming will shake you even deeper than what you have just heard.